Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shamayo, and this is MeWe Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest and many online, and we interview our practitioners and vendors so you get to know who we are before you meet us at an event. I'm here today with Troy Bacon. Troy, it's great to be with you.
You as well, Lorelei. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what is it that you do? What do you offer at our events?
Okay, so again, my name is Troy J. Bacon, and I am an energy healer. I offer generally positive transformation and wellness on all levels of the mind, body, energy, body, emotions, spirit, and bringing a person's life together on, um, if they wish, the highest track of their purpose. And I do that with hypnotherapy and Reiki services. They really blend well together. Since I started learning hypnotherapy, I've always had the sense that um, going into hypnosis would blend very well with also energy healing, and energy healing would complement what we do in hypnosis so that we can fix and correct the energy body to its optimum state too. And indeed, they do work together. And so that's what I do. I offer hypnotherapy for reprogramming the subconscious in however ways it needs to, building motivation and self-confidence, reprogramming and reversing fears and phobias and traumas too is one of my specialties. Trauma recovery, which can be things from just this life, also past life therapy, past life regression therapy. It also involves soul contract work, which is another one of my more self-taught specialties I've just learned organically. And yeah, a lot of that goes together. And I also do Reiki for people, and that affects that. Reiki is an energy that I don't necessarily have to tell it what to do. I facilitate it, literally channel. It means channeling universal life force energy. So it's really the energy from all around us, elements in nature and the universe that we all have flowing through us. But I optimize that for people, and it really just finds its way to where it needs to go, to what the person needs in their body, in their mind and subconscious and emotions and anything else. Um, yeah, Reiki can be very transformative too. Um, it helped me awaken more of my psychic abilities and also start channeling symbols from a group of beings I'm still learning about and understanding. I might do a teaching course related to that later on after I refine that. But yeah, Reiki is powerful.
What is the third thing? I feel like a third modality that you shared, or right before you started talking about Reiki more deeply, you said it's self-taught. What is that? I didn't.
Uh, soul contract healing, which is
Okay.
part of hypnotherapy. Yeah, in hypnosis, we can go kind of deep, and um, in my hypnotherapy, I guide people um, into what I call the inner landscape. And it's very different for everyone. Each person's inner landscape is different, but usually it feels like a literal place or world or landscape that they can explore, see, and hear, and feel and experience. And I guide them. It becomes more real as they revisit it and practice it. And in that landscape, it's really in the subconscious realm, but then the subconscious can communicate that way. We can also connect with guides and ancestors, angels, spirit guides, spirit animals, other beings. And yeah, that's soul contracts are one thing we can access in hypnosis too.
Hmm. Okay, wow. Well, how did you get started with all this? From the way you shared, it sounded like maybe it was receiving Reiki, but maybe not. How did you get going?
I started with hypnotherapy as so I got
Mhm.
into all this specialty practice. Ever since I was about 15 years old, that's when I really started my spiritual awakening. Um, about 12 years ago now. But yeah, as a child and teenager, I was open-minded and I always knew I wanted to make a big difference in the world. Um, One thing is I've always wanted to be a writer, and I'm working on publishing my first book this year. Hopefully, when the publisher gets back to me and gets that going. But I also always knew I wanted to be something like a doctor or a healer, but I got into energy healing as a teenager, learned all about homeopathy in high school and crystal medicine too throughout my high school years and astrology. And I wanted to go to Bastyr University actually, but I didn't end up getting in there. Um, Life took me in a different direction, which has turned out beneficial. But yeah, now I'm on the path of energy healing. After I had a walk-in experience in
Hmm.
November of 2020,
Hmm.
um, that really turned my life around, and I was kind of in a darker, um, kind of like dark night of the soul at the time. Um, with the walk-in experience, I lost all sense of who I was. I didn't lose any memories, but I just lost sense of my heart and soul, and that I had to recover that. And um, I received a couple of sessions from a friend who does quantum healing hypnosis, and that in that I channeled my oversoul for the first time, which was a powerful experience. And that hypnosis was so different and more potent than any energy healing I've experienced from other modalities that then I decided I wanted to learn hypnosis. And so I enrolled in the Hypnosis Motivation Institute. It's based out of Tarzana, California, which is near Los Angeles. And yeah, they do an online program, which I'm so grateful for. Um, Very comprehensive. It was a year-long course, and I learned all about clinical hypnotherapy and a bunch of other various modalities. Some are unconventional. Um, they also have some energy healing classes there. And so yeah, um, that's how I got into it.
Hmm.
I'll say that
Wow.
all of my therapy is not just what I was taught by HMI. Um, my certifications are through the American Hypnosis Association, which is our sister agency. Um, but a lot of my hypnotherapy has evolved more organically, kind of like evolutions and integrations of what I learned before with energy healing. But also some of it, I believe, came from the wisdom and ancient teachings that came through with my walk-in soul. Some of my induction processes are based off of ancient techniques that I just started remembering in meditation, and it's kind of unique. Yeah, it's become kind of its own process as I've learned.
It might be helpful if you share with people a little bit about what a walk-in is. I know what a walk-in is. I usually can see it in people's eyes, so I'm so curious now to see photos of you from a while ago. But maybe tell people a little bit about what it was like, and if you don't mind sharing about like how you knew that's what you were experiencing. And it's usually a big long recovery after it, so you're doing really well.
Yeah, so walk-in, there are different types of walk-ins, but generally, or usually it's an exchange, or some types are braided walk-ins, some types are also jumper walk-ins where the part comes and goes to observe this world, and but usually it's a permanent or very long-term exchange of soul, either souls entirely or soul fragments. Mine was more of a soul fractal exchange where part of my old self left and went to another um, alien body, and then a part of that alien body's soul came into my body. And we've always been connected. We're part of the same oversoul, as I've learned. That's how I describe it. It's kind of like much larger, kind of umbrella soul. Um, aspect. That's what I feel it as. Anyway, so yeah, because that walk-in particle that by the way, it was agreed upon before this incarnation, I've actually remembered um making that agreement before this body was born in that alien body and with the alien group I'm connected with. And yeah, that's a memory I'll write about in my autobiography about all this. Yeah, and so that's of course because that particle is from a higher density and brings forth memories and energy for many lifetimes on this planet and others. Um, there was an adjustment period. There always is for walk-ins, almost all the walk-ins. And usually that adjustment period happens, first of all, the walk-in event is usually a specific event that happens very quickly at a certain point, usually on a certain date at a certain time, if they can figure that out. Some realize it shortly after the event that they're different, or some even years later, they just realize that they had a change after a certain point and they're not who they used to be, and then they're a walk-in. But mine was fairly quick. It was after I was let go from another job that I honestly didn't even like, or the older part of me didn't like anyway. But it was just a shock. It wasn't like a near-death experience where some walk-ins experience. But it was enough of a kind of a death and opening of myself that that night, as I was asleep, there was a psychic surgery that was performed with my alien family, and um, I think part of me literally died and came back to life. It was a very quick, instantaneous process, though. But because of that literal and metaphorical dying process, I went through that dark night of the soul, and my integration period initially lasted about 6 or 7 months. As I felt it took me that long to fully um, feel like I belong in this body. And initially, I just knew that something had happened. I knew I was a walk-in because I was actually reading a book from another walk-in. It was like the second book. Jalila Starr is the author, and her book is, or that book was The Mission Remembered. She's a Pleiadian Nibiruan walk-in. Very interesting. And so I was reading about her walk-in symptoms at the time. And so I'd kind of been wondering if what I was going through was because of that. I had headaches frequently. They were really bad, like around my whole head. It felt like a vice grip was squeezing the center of my brain for 3 weeks off and on. Um, and that was part of the adjustment. Um, I also, I think for about maybe 3 to 5 days after the initial walk-in, for some days, I slept for 13 hours straight at, at like each night. I had never slept for 13 hours straight before. Sometimes I slept maybe up to 10 or 11 at times in the past, but um, not 13. So I knew that was different. Um, what else? There were some other symptoms. Oh, one of them was the memory surfaces, which it was like at random times during the day, usually when I was in a calm, unfocused state of mind, memories would bubble up from this life, just random little moments and things I'd done. Not all of it was very important, but just memories, very clearly. But when they would come into my mind's awareness, it felt to me like they were someone else's memories, even though I understood and knew everything about them. and that's a common walk-in symptom too. That doesn't happen to other people who aren't walk-ins, I've heard. So yeah, that's a bit about walk-ins.
Great.
Walk-ins are, some people have the misunderstanding that they're a possession, but
Mm,
it's all by soul contract. It has to be. And walk-ins are for the ascension of the planet and the species, and they're really, I think, an ancient thing that has been going on for centuries at least on this planet. The process is picking up, more walk-ins are coming in,
mhm.
and I feel like I've done this before, where walk-ins have happened on other planets that were awakening, and that's one of the thing my soul has done is been part of the awakening of other planets too.
Yeah, and walk-ins, the ones that I know of, they often take much longer to integrate, and it makes sense to me that more are coming in that are more conscious, and the more conscious they are, the quicker they are to integrate into
Mhm.
the new body and the new life. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's great hearing. It's great for other people too to learn about this. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah. Well, let's see. So, if people want to learn more about you and more about your work, where do they go online?
Yeah, so my hypnotherapy business is called New Being Hypnosis. I live in Seattle and I have an office space where people can meet me locally, um, in southern Seattle. That's by appointment. I can do Reiki and hypnotherapy there or online via Zoom, even over the phone, just by audio. That's how I learned to. My first hypnosis sessions that I received from a hypnotherapist initially were, my dog just joined me, um, were over the phone. It wasn't even by video, but I learned hypnotherapy, by that distance training, also by recorded video sessions, 300 hours. It's my dog Lavender, by the way.
Hey, Lavender. That's great to have Lavender join us. Oh, Lavender's almost like a little bat. Lavender's got great ears.
She has big bat ears.
She
I've
does.
thought of getting
Mm.
that for her for Halloween, something like that. Um,
Well, yeah. So you said so newbeinghypnosis.com. Is that your website?
yes, newbeinghypnosis.com is where people can learn about my practice and what I offer and what makes my practice unique. I'm updating some of that, adding more video clips of me introducing parts of it on each page and explaining things in that process. And so bear with me as I update things. But yeah, all my information is there. People can call, text, or email me. And I'm taking on new clients. Um, my availability might be changing soon, but I'll update that in my calendar system, so that will be there. I'm also available to be um, followed and messaged on Facebook at my Facebook account, which is now called Troy Light Griffin Bacon, because one of my very close main spirit animals is a griffin. Um, that's an interesting story. Basically, I met him, or he approached me while I was meditating under the night of the closest passing of Comet Leonard. I recall that was around December 10th, um, of 2021. I think that is 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, basically, if you spell that date
Mhm.
out. Um, yeah, just a griffin appeared to me, and I hadn't been familiar with griffin energy so much, but he's always been with me and merged with me. Actually, for a while, he came and went as like a spirit guide, but then decided to stay with me, and so yeah, I consider him part of me too.
Wow.
Troy, yeah, Troy Light Griffin Bacon on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel too, which is called New Being Hypnosis, the same
Mhm.
as my company, my business, and on there, I've been doing a series called the Quantum Credo Corner, and it's like fifth or sixth episode now. I need to upload soon. Um, and that's with my friend Derek Ivy, who I believe lives in Colorado,
Hmm.
as I recall. But he also does hypnotherapy and Reiki. I think our practices and energy are very similar. Um, right now I'm certified in Reiki 2. He's a Reiki master teacher. I'm gonna go for the master teacher soon and start teaching Reiki as well as other things I'll be teaching soon through my website. I'm gonna offer classes soon, getting that material together. And yeah, Derek and I talk about what we've been learning mostly through experience, not just through traditional teachings, but through our experiences of hypnotherapy and Reiki, but especially the mind and manifesting and energy work of all kinds. And yeah, so each video and topic is a little different. It kind of builds on itself, but yeah, New Being Hypnosis channel on YouTube.
Great, great. Well, it's been lovely getting to know you and more of your history. And yeah, it's great. It's very exciting for you to be in the community. And
You, Lorelei. And yeah, I'll be at a lot of MeWe fairs in the greater Seattle area soon. I'll be at the Ocean Shores Fair too on in August. I'll be signing up for more as I go. And I've been doing some online MeWe fairs and practice circles. So it's
yeah,
great to be part
great,
of. Thank you
great.
so much, Wei, for being a great leader of this. I know it takes a lot of energy and a lot of power to do this. So thank you. You're doing
No,
well.
you're welcome. Yeah, we're all contributing in our own ways. And thanks for all of you watching. You can find out more about all of our events at mewefairs.com. See you soon.